So a little bit of instant reaction tonight to Scary Terry McLaurin actually requesting a trade from the Washington Commanders. I'm going to bring up Shannon Sharpe super quick, just simply to say the reason he actually ended up getting fired by ESPN, quite frankly, was really because there were no executives actually willing to go out on a limb for him. In this particular case, in the Scary Terry McLaurin case, I ask you this, Washington Commanders fans, where's your head coach in all of this? He's certainly aware of the performance that Terry McLaurin actually put up last season. He also has to be aware of the fact that Jaden Daniels threw 25 touchdown passes last season. By the way, 13 of those actually went to Scary Terry McLaurin. Welcome back to the Nats NFL Rundown Show. As always, I'm Dave DeBaugh, coming to you from the Silicon Valley. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're in a job and you've been in that job for a very long period of time and you performed year after year after year, and you went to your boss and you asked your boss for a significant raise, the company at that point has two choices. One, they can actually give you a significant raise, and two, they can decide not to. In this particular case, the Washington Commanders, for whatever reason, do not want to pay Terry McLaurin. Now, I know he's 29 years old now, and yes, we understand that he probably wants like a $100 million contract, and he probably wants money somewhere around $35 million a year. But still, there is a way, I think, for the Commanders to actually get a legitimate deal done with Terry McLaurin. So for them to allow it to actually get to this point is really out of the Jimmy Haslam playbook of the Cleveland Browns, like an organization that just does a terrible job actually taking care of its players over the years. Now, watching this all sort of unfold the way it's unfolded over the past couple weeks with Terry McLaurin initially holding out and now holding in, and a couple days later officially asking for a request to actually be traded. But what we know about the National Football League is definitely different than what happens in the NBA. In the NBA, a player can request a trade and can actually help make that trade actually occur. In the NFL, the teams can simply decide to not honor that request. It is much harder to actually be traded in the NFL than it actually is in the NBA. But when you look at the stats from last season and you say, well, how many receptions did Scary Terry have? Well, he had 82. How many receptions did he have the year before that? 79. The year before that, 77. The year before that, 77. The year before that, 87. And you have to remember what a poorly run organization the Washington Commanders were when he got there. Now, I certainly believe in Josh Harris as an owner of the Washington Commanders, but I don't understand this at all from both a monetary standpoint as well as a player standpoint. Terry is actually one of the good guys, really good guys in the National Football League. And quite frankly, he certainly deserves to be paid. Now, when we take a look at what some of the other top players in the National Football League are making from that wide receiver position, obviously Jamar Chase is making over $40 million. Justin Jefferson is making $35 million. CeeDee Lamb is going to make $34 million. DK Metcalf is making just under $33 million. AJ Brown is actually making $32 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown is making $30 million. And Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, who seems to have lost a step, is also going to make $30 million this year. At the very least, I would say Terry McLaurin is in, at this stage, that $30 million range, especially when you factor in just how valuable he was for that rookie quarterback last year. Like, I just don't understand this at all. This is also an organization that did the right thing last week when they unveiled a brand new locker room, something they didn't really need to go do, but they created a state-of-the-art locker room in an old, decrepit football stadium, which takes us to the next part of the fact that they absolutely have the money. They're willing to spend close to $4 billion on a new stadium in Washington, D.C. Now, of course, they're going to end up spending around $3 billion out of pocket. The rest will be covered by the city of Washington, D.C., and then eventually will get paid back. But still, when I think about this particular fiasco, because that's exactly what this is a total and utter fiasco by the Washington Commanders, a complete misstep. And while I don't want to get into the general manager details, I will say this. As far as I'm concerned, the person that's really steering the ship on this and that could actually be the lifeline to actually solve the contract negotiations could have and should have been the head coach, Dan Quinn, who should have gone to bat for Terry McLaurin. All right, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this particular topic. I mean, obviously, I've always thought Dan Quinn's an excellent coach, and I like what he does. I like Josh Harris. I like what Jaden Daniels has been doing. This just simply doesn't make any sense at all. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. New to the NFL Rundown show on our Nat channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and of course, like this video. For the NFL Rundown, I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.